I went as a baby. Well, I would say it was when I was two-ish, toddler, I guess. I went to Spain.
I'd actually never been on a flight before, on a plane anyway. To be on helicopters, but never plane. It was amazing. In terms of flights, it's about as perfect as you can get. So no turbulence, no anything. Just a lovely flight. We actually ended up flying over the Swiss Alps for some bizarre reasons. That was an experience. Not really, to be honest. I kind of knew what to expect, which made it less nerve-wracking.
Yes, I've been flying twice. So once to Canada when I was 8, and then another time to Florida when I was 19, both of which were 9-hour journeys to Canada and America, with this flight over to Italy being much, much shorter than any previous flights.
I've been flying many times before COVID, and I think we'd usually go twice a year on a plane, so very used to it. It's still nerve-wracking though. It was new to me staying with people that I didn't know at all. I've done school trips where I stayed with fellow pupils, which isn't quite the same as being with a complete stranger from a different country.
I've been on a school trip and I've slept in rooms with like other friends, but not with like complete strangers and whichever. But yeah, no, like the experience was good. Everyone was very nice and welcoming. You form bonds with those. So yeah, we've formed bonds with those people over time, and it was a good experience all around.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was a new one on me as well to stay with people who I hadn't met at all, but an amazing group, and we're all good friends now, so it worked out really well. Yes, I am. Well, we have a big WhatsApp thread with everyone on, and then I'm in contact with most of them through various other social media channels, so it's really great.
I'm still talking to those people. I'm following them on Insta, Snapchat and WhatsApp. We had to do workshops, also games, activity, and also we also had to some free time with those and played football with them.
Oh, there's so many different ones around European citizenship and kind of cooperation and working together and what each different group did. And we had like a cultural night from each country, and that was really you learnt a lot from those. It was great. We had an amazing quiz that Rachel put a lot of work into. We had music from Anthony. He did DJing all night. We had some amazing British food that caused a few cultural arguments, but that was interesting.
We gave them all scones and crumpets, and it was a good Cadbury Dairy Milk as well.
Yeah.
It was a rush, but I think the quiz turned out good. I think I was surprised at how well the other Europeans did. They seemed to know a fair amount, more than I know about their countries.
I completely agree. I was quite shocked that we had questions not only about the UK but about Bournemouth specifically. They did incredibly well on those. And then a certain person slipped in questions about miles and feet, which they don't use, which is a little bit mean, but they did surprisingly well.
So I used a PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint, and I did several slides, each one on different topics. So I had pictures of landmarks and asked the audience to write down what they thought each landmark was. I did the same for kings/princesses, and I did a king/prince round. I did a kind of like cultural thing of like traditions we have, and see identify which one's false and which one's correct, and different things like that.
I would say the best one was France. The France night. It was very, I would say, quite laid back, but also quite romantic at the same time. The German night, I would say, was more it was quite techno.
Yeah, I would agree that they're all interesting for different reasons. With a lot of focus on kind of the commonalities were food and music from each country. That was interesting to learn about. And then, as Ant said, the German night was quite techno heavy. The Spanish group obviously had their traditional like Spanish music and also more modern like reggaeton type. The French had interesting music. Yeah, it was really, really good overall. And the German group also made quite an informative quiz. So that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I remember was Spain and their dance night and whichever, which I didn't participate in because I'm no dancer. But yeah, like our British night was good. At least we had some British hits, and yeah, it was good all around.
It really, the Spanish were really party animals. Just went out. Their music was quite loud. The French seemed to be a little more elegant in the fact that they seemed to be more laid back and their food was more delicate in flavours.
The Spanish group definitely focused more on the music, and the French were more about the French language. That was interesting to learn, as much as our French isn't particularly amazing, but it was interesting to have a go.
They do like their Spanish do like their dancing. They actually feel the music rather than party to it and not listen and take the music, listen to it, and then as soon as they've recognised what's playing, they'll dance and make dances to it, like proper dances.
And I will say, across all the groups, the Spanish group was far more popular in terms of music than the German music. Religion's a bigger part of their culture. They have far more churches than we do, and a lot more kind of art and fashion, all that kind of that side of things.
They've got very old and antiquated buildings.
Particularly where we were, because the building is, I think, almost, or parts of it, are almost 1,000 years old.
They had two main courses for each dish. So we had 4 main courses a day, not including breakfast. And they seemed to have one pasta course or something sort of like pasta. And then they would have a course with like boiled vegetables and beans. It was very different from what I expected, and definitely very different than our English-sized version of Italian food.
We all had various different Italian dishes while we were there. Do we each have a favourite Italian food that we tried?
I'd say it was either the pizza or I guess the mixed vegetables we had over there.
Pasta bolognese.
For me, it would be either gnocchi or the pasta we had with courgette, which was amazing.
The pulse salad was quite good. Like the pulse was like the chickpeas, kidney beans, all of that, and it was mixed in like a garlicky sauce, but it wasn't overpowering garlic.
I had vegan tiramisu, which is the first time I ever had that. Chocolate and also like a cream. It's lovely.
Just coffee and mascarpone cheese.
But it doesn't seem like they do puddings as such, but rather occasionally they'll have a sweet treat. It's not like a thing of we have a main course then a pudding like we do here. And a lot of the Europeans stared at us blankly like, what are you talking about?
I guess my favourite was meeting everyone and playing football with everyone.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that football seems to be incredibly international. All the groups love football, which is interesting. We were able to bond over that. But football is incredibly international. Like all the groups there seem to love football, which is something we're really able to bond over and all play football together, which is a lot of fun. My favourite part would definitely have been meeting everybody because we had so many amazing memories there. It's so hard to pick one thing. I really loved every minute of it. Pavia.
Yeah, Pavia was great.
San Zenone was another town, which is kind of the next village over from Spessa, the slightly bigger one.
But yeah, no, the tour of the city was great, and yeah, that'll forever stay with me.
Same here, it was really amazing. The university as well is spectacular.
I think learning and sharing knowledge and experiences was what I most liked.
Because at the university, because it was quite of an old university, the toilets there, they had like ones you squatted.
Oh, one thing I liked is that we're staying in a really small village, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. So that meant that for the whole time we were there, the whole week, most of us were in the hostel place. So it allowed for lots of working together, and even in the free time, we spent a lot of time with the whole group. So that was really nice. In terms of the trip, all the other groups there spoke really good English. With the shop specifically, a couple of the staff spoke English. Most didn't, but Andrea, who went with us, is fluent in Italian, so that helped. And when she wasn't with us, Google Translate is amazing. Being able to pull up translation on your phone and get any language you want. And even now I'm using it because where I have people from the trip on social media, for example, Instagram stories has a translate button now, which is amazing. Virtually everyone. Obviously, not everyone uses the same platforms, but I'm in contact with all of them one way or another. At this point, we don't really know. It's one of those things where we hope so and we see where it goes. So let you know in a few months or something. I wouldn't say shocking, but it really was interesting. And as much as I did a good amount of research, you can never know everything about a place. It was really interesting to be there and experience the culture. That is so hard to pick. It's just incredible to experience a different culture for the first time and see all the different ways things work. Definitely be open to travelling more in the future. Let's see where that goes. So many places. I don't think we have time to go through all of them, but we'll see where life goes. Oh, the one that since we've been back, everyone keeps saying is, did you go to Rome? So I think experiencing Rome would be interesting. Yeah, we did. We had we had various tours around places, and we always got to see the churches and also statues and things of religious significance. And Catholicism is really huge in Italy. And they say, this might be an urban legend, but they say there's a church within 1 kilometre pretty much anywhere in Italy. Really great question. I would say it depends on where you go anywhere, because larger places tend to have more options. For example, when we were in Pavia, most of the restaurants had at least one vegan thing. There's at least a level of awareness. And in terms of Spessa, the small village, there wouldn't have been anything. But we've obviously communicated with the Italian group in advance, and they were absolutely amazing. They were far better than I expected on that one. I actually packed half my suitcase full of vegan food and then didn't need to touch it because they provided everything. Oh, I'd say really get involved in as many different things as you can, sort of, and don't be afraid to try new things.